Hi, it's Bill again from UKGK TV.
I'm Dave. This is Mike. And unfortunately, or fortunately, we still got
another Dave.
We've got another Dave. We couldn't get rid of him.
Yep.
I think the tea's too good for him,
Two
to be honest.
Bill and the Mike.
I think the tea's too nice for him, innit, mate? I don't think he has proper tea at home, do you? Right. Do you like the Yorkshire tea?
It's lovely.
We're under orders not to click our biros or rub our noses as well, because apparently we... Because Dave clicks his biro, I rub my nose. And when I rub my nose, Dave thinks I'm saying, it's not something on your nose. So for all through last video, I was going like this, and, you know, he was going...
I was going like this all the time. Basically,
checking yourself.
I've got, yeah. No, that's all. I was basically, I had a bit of a cold last episode, and Bill kept going like this. So I was conscious that he was doing that in the last episode. So every time I was going, and then he got up and he started doing this when he was talking, just all the time. So I haven't had him in my nose, and I haven't, and I'm not going to click my pen. We're
going to be dead careful. And we are. We got the sound on all right as well.
Yes, we have. And what's something else I'd have to point out? On the last video, we set a timer on it because we like to time the videos for 20 minutes. Unfortunately, it went off about 4 times. So if you hear bleeping on the last video, that's the timer telling us, "Shut up, guys! You spoke too much." Anyway, this episode.
It's about the 80s, isn't it? It's about 80s horror. Last time we had a look at Universal, and I waxed lyrical about Universal and to an extent Hammer, which to me, those two areas are classic horror.
Yeah.
And then in the 1980s, we got a new, late 70s, early 80s, we got a new breed of horror, which was the kind of hack and slash, kids at a holiday camp, people, you know, escaped serial killer kind of thing. Now, I have my own theory about it. If I was writing my doctorate on horror, and their relationship to garage kits, I have to say, as much as I love Universal and Hammer, without horror from the 1980s, garage kits as we know them would not exist. Because I'm thinking, you know, mainstream producers like Aurora and people like that, they've produced horror kits here and there. Even Disney, even NPC and people like that have done Disney Haunted Mansion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's the acceptable face of horror. So the mainstream American producers, which we all kind of rely on for our fun, would never really have ever perhaps done something from an R-rated or an 18-rated, X-rated movie, like Jason or Freddy and stuff like that. It would have been just too controversial. And we know that with monster scenes, that kind of ended Aurora, that monster scenes were so perceived to be so gruesome, even though they're tame, it actually near enough killed the company.
Oh.
So we know that particularly in the US, there's a great big sort of moral majority that kind of polices these things. It's a bit like the movie code from the 1930s.
Yeah.
So we relied on, to get our thrills and get our kits, we relied very much on small, literally people in their garages making stuff. And that was where the modern view of garage kits come from. It's a bit like when you tell me the story about you and Joe Bailey with the De Niro kit. It's almost like, you know, you're watching this, so you know that garage kits exist. But if you're in a small town in England and you're like 18 years old and it's the late 80s, maybe mid 80s, you don't know that these things exist.
Well, what was your first
horror
kit?
Not
a
dinosaur kit. No, my first horror kit, though sci-fi, was Alien, and it was what I thought was a Dark Horse kit.
Dark Horse.
And that was the first one, and I was expecting it to be styrene, and when I got it out of the box, it was resin. And then I had to undergo a whole new sort of series of training to be able to assemble it, because I didn't know these things existed. I thought it was going to be like an Airfix kit.
No, it's a big step up. What about you, Dave?
Oh, crikey, I think it was...
Horror, not sci-fi.
Aurora, really. It was glow-in-the-dark Frankenstein.
Yeah.
You know.
What about your 80s one? What about
the 80s one, the first one, basically, I think would have been the Dracula.
Christopher Lee.
The Chris Lee one.
See,
that's the ones that I generally sell a lot.
I know, so it shows how
classic stuff. You see.
Whereas with me, I went into a comic shop and seen that Screaming Freddy. Yeah. That was it. I'd done the stuff that you guys had done, but when I seen the Freddy, I thought, wow, I'm different. Because let's be honest, guys, when these garage kits first came out, if you were into this, you were a bit of a nerd, weren't you?
Well, yeah, you were.
We still are.
You were either a nerd or returning to the hobby, and you'd gone into a shop like Forbidden Planet,
Yes.
And you'd seen that they don't just sell comic books anymore.
Correct.
No.
Because when I was in there, I was looking for a heavy metal magazine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I went in and I saw that Dark Horse Alien. And then the next one that you were talking about was Freddy Krueger.
Can you remember? Did you ever go to Oxford Street in London?
Yeah, I did.
Can you remember when Chris Pickering used to run that? It was absolutely
Yeah,
full
I remember
of it.
going down there, and there was one there, and there was another one. There was another shop in Birmingham I used to go to a lot.
I know that one. Massive on the corner.
Yeah, massive on a corner, like on the rotunda. It was like
That
a
was
big
it.
glass front.
Brilliant.
Place,
What's it
like,
called? Oh,
it's something,
Another World. Is it?
Another World, yeah, something
Something
like
like
that.
that.
Another
Yeah.
World, yeah.
But what about where did you sort of spend all your misguided use?
Forbidden Planet, really.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
didn't Liverpool have a big? They had quite a big garage kit all of a sudden, didn't they?
Yeah,
It
they
disappeared,
did.
didn't it?
On the back of, as Bill said, the comics.
Yeah.
So, but you had to go into the shop to realise that they did them.
Yes.
Yeah, they were
So
in
they
the
had
window.
like a display cabinet like we've got here, and they'd have those that were completed.
Monsters in Motion, weren't they?
Yeah,
Lots.
they were.
Yeah.
Now I'll tell you the story about that. Chris is a friend of mine. He lives local to us. He's from around here, funnily enough, and he got in contact with me about it. And to be honest, he sort of kick-started me because he used to order 10 of everything of mine. When it came out, he'd order 10. He'd order 20 if it was a special one. So basically, he used to be in London. He worked for Forbidden Planet. So he'd have everything in there, and then he'd ship out to Liverpool and places like that.
Right.
Now, when I used to go into Liverpool, the manager of Liverpool used to always moan at me because Chris used to send him all his rubbish or stuff that he couldn't sell, and he always used to moan about that, saying and there is a massive and a very, very strong element of garage kit guys in Liverpool area in the Merseyside. So that's the story about that. But Chris sadly left, and now it's gone to just standard stuff, hasn't it? Really. So that's where the kits used to be, the 80s stuff. We're going to put a bit of meat on it to the bones again today, hopefully. What we're going to do is we're going to chat to you about some of the stuff that is available. As I said before in the video, guys, if you want to be included in this, feel free, contact us. Feel free to let us know, if you want anything reviewed or chatted about, contact us. We're more than happy to talk about it. First one up now is...
Well, it's Barlow, isn't it, from
Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot. Stephen King, obviously.
Yeah, brilliant.
I mean, I can't tell you the actor that played this part because he is so... This image is so striking. It's not like you're looking for... He's so visually visceral. You don't even really think there's an actor underneath the makeup. It looks so realistic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
At the time?
When we did that one's done by a gentleman called Darren Harvey, and I've got to be good. I've got to be honest. Darren's absolutely aced it. I mean, God knows how many you've sold of that.
Oh, I know.
But it's a really popular one. Well, we're on a third set of moulds now, so it was that popular. If Bill turns it round, we've altered the later ones to put this like crease in here just to help the mould last a little bit longer, to give it a bit more mould life. But this
it gives you a bit more stability. To
it also stands. It also makes it standard because the first
Yeah.
one was a little bit wobbly.
heavy, yeah.
But this is Mr. Barlow. He's half scale.
Yeah, I mean, this was like weirdly this was like a mainstream because this was a made-for-TV miniseries, wasn't it, with David Soul, the original
scared
one
the
of this.
bejeebers
Scared
out
the
of me.
bejeebers out of people. It was on at 9 o'clock at night.
frightening
People
when
weren't
it first
expecting it, and there was quite a famous director that did it, wasn't it, of horror movies? I can't remember who it was.
No,
but,
I can't.
But anyway, I was surprised to see, I was just expecting this like kind of Hallmark kind of like love story.
It's great, isn't it?
And this came on, and there's a kid floating at the window.
Tapping on the window.
Tapping on the window.
Jesus
I mean, that was
Let
great.
me
How
in.
did he put shit up me, to be fair.
Yeah.
And when he's sat in the chair,
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
when
click? The click?
Yeah.
Click.
It's
Is it
it's the handyman, isn't it? And he's
Yeah.
in the hotel, rocking
Yeah.
in the chair.
Yeah.
And then this guy appears in the kitchen, and then he bangs the kid's mum and dad's head together and breaks their necks, and
That's
just
right.
appears, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking it's James Mason who's the vampire.
Yeah.
No,
No,
it's
he's
not.
not.
No.
I
It's
thought
this
that.
geezer.
It is.
It is.
Now, have
You
you
never
seen-
saw him until
No,
later
till
on in the
very
movie.
late on.
Just an interesting fact. Have you ever watched that new series? Have you seen it? Chapelway, is it? Have you seen that? That's
No.
the prequel to the. That's really
Is
Is
dark.
it really good?
That's the prequel to this, I believe.
Wow.
Right.
Is it? Yeah.
Now we that's half scale done by Darren. We do another Barlow by Andy.
Yep.
Andy decided to do a smaller version, which is stunning, and he's got the house in
Do you
front
want
of
me
it.
to get it?
I don't know if you got one now.
Yeah.
Have we? So we do a smaller one here, and basically he's got the house in front of him, and
Oh yeah, I saw it earlier.
my
on,
lovely
yeah,
assistant here will show
There
you
you
this. So here's the one here. Now look at this. This is the Is it the Marsden House?
Yes,
Yeah, the
it
Marsden
is.
House,
It
yeah.
How
is.
good
there you
is
go.
that? That is fantastic, isn't it? Oh, it's amazing. That one sells brilliant.
Hotcakes.
Andy went on to do a figure for us as well because I always wanted
Is that
a
the
figure.
full height Barlow?
Yeah, 12
figure?
inches tall.
12
Yeah.
inches tall.
So that's
yeah.
the Barlow. So them two are available. They're available for myself, Killer Kits.
Yeah.
Again, guys, if you want anything reviewing, just let us know. Next one up.
Well, while we're in the Stephen King mood,
Yeah.
It also Stephen King.
Ah, yeah.
Well,
look
once
at the
again,
film.
this was a kind of a shock for parents when the kids were sitting there watching this.
Do you know with that one? This is the remake.
Yeah.
And I was kind of because I love Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, yeah.
and
I mean, I
thought-
still prefer Tim Curry. I think there's a malevolence in Tim Curry.
Tim Curry or this one, Dave.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Yeah.
There's a malevolence in Tim
But
Curry,
that
which is
one
natural.
has got a massive following.
I can imagine. Because this is the remake guy. I can't
Yes,
remember the
it
guy's
is.
name because
He's doing The Crow. He's the gentleman that's doing the
he's
remake
remaking
of
The
Crow.
Crow.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
That one in particular is by a guy called Kester. Now this guy's from. I'm sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's from the Philippines. When I seen that, I just had to have that one. That was fantastic, and it does really well. Again, it's maybe half scale.
Yeah.
Maybe half scale. A popular one at the horror conventions. Have you sold many of them, Dave? No.
No, not
Funny
really.
enough.
Strange, isn't it?
Funny that one, innit? But to me, that's one of my faves.
I think what I liked about the actual miniseries is that the fact that when we look at the new movie of it, they've got all that skill and CGI and all that they've got. Whereas the miniseries back in the 80s, it was like Tim Curry had to carry it, didn't he, on his own? He had no
Yeah.
effects.
It was mental, though, wasn't it?
It was mental.
He's just,
You can just see
scary.
the actor's manic, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
like Frankenfurter, isn't
Yes,
he? Frankenfurter
yeah,
from Rocky Horror Show. But you can see that the inside there's a natural manic nature of Tim Curry coming out of it, and he had to carry it basically on his own. This had a lot of history behind it, and by this time, by now, of course, people know what scares people. Back then, it was a kind of a bit of a random act about what scared people. So you had to kind of experiment as a filmmaker. You kind of had to experiment. I mean, you know, who'd have thought a guy in a hockey mask, or who'd have thought a Shatner mask would scare? Well, Shatner mask would scare
Yes.
people, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that kind of thing, you know, it's just a guy in a mask. What's
Yeah.
so scary about that? But as we know, it's one of those things. Whereas this is and let's face it, Stephen King knows what scares people. He knows that everybody kind of laughs at clowns, but really you don't want to meet one, do you?
Not in the dark
No, you
alley.
don't.
And the strange thing is, there's a lot of people scared of clowns.
Scared of clowns? There's a phobia.
They are.
I don't know what the phobia is
Absolutely.
called, but there's an actual official name.
Talking of clowns,
Yep.
the latest, trendiest one is the Art the Clown.
Oh, Art the Clown. So
Art the
there's
Clown.
a
which
historical.
we do a few. I don't know whether
yeah,
Dave
yeah,
will
yeah.
get me that one from
Yeah,
up there.
well-
So see how well prepared
Well,
we
that's
are.
well prepared.
How well prepared we
So
are.
we'll have a look at Art the Clown. I think the notion of the clown goes way back, though, doesn't it? Didn't Lon Chaney Sr.
He did a clown,
He
didn't
did a clown, didn't he? Is a man who laughs or something? It was called.
Maybe.
Maybe. You know.
Here we
So
go.
the
I'll
clown
look
is
at
a
this.
is a,
Look at
is a
that.
long term. I mean, I don't think you can look at this without referencing that Stephen King. I think you've got to say that this is a development from it in a
Yes.
sense. That,
This one basically was created by sculpted by Andy Copeland. Basically, he does a smaller version, and it was so popular, people were asking us to do a larger version. So Andy went away and he redid this. He did it with this face, and he's done it with a more sort of startling face. So you can either have it, either. You can have it waving, or you can have it with a skull. It's a bit Macbeth.
yeah, there's a theatrical
There is,
sort of
isn't there?
thing going on in there.
So
isn't there?
it's that now. This is like, to me, this one is the new cult guy. It's the stories to me are just
I
slash
think-
and gore.
I think the fact that it's had, as a character, it's had a massive impact, hasn't it?
Oh, it's massive.
People even know the character even if they've not seen the film.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this one is popular with the young kids, young people. They love this. This one sells pretty well. That one, so that one's available through us again. Like I
See,
say,
the difference between this clown, in my opinion, and it is the people that it persecutes are nice kids, and you want them to survive.
have you seen these story
Yeah,
for it?
this
I
guy,
don't get it.
this guy, the people that he kills, I don't particularly like them, so I'm not that bothered that they're dead. That sounds really cruel.
Yeah.
I've got
But
to own up,
this
guys. I
guy
haven't
just,
seen the
you know,
movie yet.
this guy
It's
just dispatches
weird.
teenagers that are just horrible.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
mad.
just me. I don't know.
But it's a cracking bust.
Lovely that
The
one.
detail
It's
in
cracking.
that's
It's great.
amazing.
It's great.
Like I say, it
It's a
comes
lot
with
of
two.
kit.
It comes with two heads and two hands. It's about half scale. How tall? 15 inches, 16 inches tall.
Yeah.
So that's the second one. Now it takes us on to one of our. Bill's got the next one. The story behind this is I seen this sculpture. It's by a guy called Tony Gibson. Seen it many moons ago, a few years ago. Mithered him to death. Needed to have this because we do a lot of on conventions.
Yeah.
He put me off, and eventually he cracked, which is great. So I'm really pleased with this one. It's a belting piece. It's our good old friend Chucky.
Yeah, it's like clowns, dolls and clowns.
Dolls that move,
Dolls are
or-
like the stock horror
Yes.
movies. Dolls that move on their own.
Correct.
Or I suppose it goes back to sort of Dead of Night when you've got like a ventriloquist dummy in a sense.
Yeah.
That the dummy takes over and it develops a mind of its own. This is like a sort of a
Demonic
walkie-talkie doll, isn't it? But this
Yeah.
particular one comes out the factory a bit warped.
Yes.
That's the
I personally, my favourite one is Seed of Chucky,
yeah.
which is a late one. It's 90s,
Right,
maybe
okay.
early 2000s. It's got Jennifer Tilly in it. I mean,
Well.
what can I say? But it's this is like when this kind of first came out. I just thought, even me, and I've got a kind of a strong moral stomach, whereas I don't judge and I think, okay, if that's what people find scary, that's fine. So nothing really outrages me. I think, no, go on, get a life, grow up,
Yeah.
But I saw this and I thought, that's actually quite horrible, isn't it? He's
Yeah.
quite putrescent as a character because he's got no redeeming features. It's not like he's like Channy the werewolf
No.
where you can't help it. This is something that wants to destroy.
Just wants to kill people.
He just
doesn't
wants
he?
Yeah,
to
he
kill
does.
people, and he revels in it. And the fact
That's a
that
great one, though, isn't it?
it's a great one. I mean, obviously the scars and stuff.
Yeah, I mean
Bizarre,
we're partially through this.
Yeah.
Rachel's partially through painting this, but as soon as she's seen it, she said, "Dave, can you get me one? I need to paint it for yourself." Basically, it comes in four parts. It comes with the main body, the two hands, and the base. And I can't wait for that to hit the shelves. We've recently acquired.
the eyes, mate. The eyes.
Tony's done. I
The
had
eyes
to
are
have it.
amazing.
I had
When
to
you
have
get
it.
the detail in those
Yeah.
eyes.
You imagine he's
Yeah.
got two. He's got two big knives in his hands here, and I'll try and get some pictures up if I've got some. But it's brilliant. I mean, how tall? 10, 12?
10 inches, 10, 11.
10, 11
Yeah,
inches
like that.
tall. It's solid resin. This one is now available through ourselves, but like I say, this was bought for the horror guys. And the story behind this one is, when he had this one, I actually collared him into getting the next one, which is, we're going to do the Sam from Sick or Treat.
Right. My final word on this is the domestic carving knife became the weapon of choice for 1980s serial killers, didn't it?
Yep.
Basically, though, and the thing is this, the good thing about this movie is, as much as it is a kind of a schlock horror, if you wanted to intellectualise, like I always tend to do, because that's how I am, you could read the whole thing as an irony, couldn't you? It's totally ironic, you know, because it's kind of referential of so many different films and of itself, and the character is so just sarcastic and ironic. You've kind of got to...
It's great,
I was
isn't
going to
it?
say you got to love him, but you don't. I'd lock him in the bathroom cupboard and leave him there and move house. But yeah, so this is the next one. This is Sam from Trick or Treat, isn't it? This is another smallish but really chunky little kit. There you go.
How
That's
good
Sam
is
from
that?
Trick or Treat.
I mean, again, it's
Partially
partially painted, but we needed to get them out for you. Same with this one. This comes in one piece, about 11 inches, 10, 11 inches tall, solid polyurethane resin. Comes with a nice plain base. They love these at our conventions. These are winners for me. Dave hasn't sold any yet, but they are winners.
I think the notion. I think if we twin this with Chucky,
It just seems to be a
but,
set,
yeah,
don't they?
but we
Yeah.
also, if you think about Pet Sematary,
Yes.
when the kid.
Yeah.
That novel did revolt and scare me. You
Yeah.
know, when I read it, I thought, "Oh, that's pretty scary." That put the chills up me. But it's the notion that a small child, which you want to nurture and love, can become a demonic entity and turn on you. That's what's really scary.
Do you know what that reminds me of? Did you ever have you ever seen that film, The Orphanage?
Yes.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Do you
It
not think
is.
that's a
There
bit
is a kind of an orphanage
like
feel.
a sock,
I think,
like
a sack on his head.
yeah, it is.
I mean, obviously, this predates the orphanage by about.
But
some years,
again,
isn't it?
this is a
Yeah,
cracker,
it's
guys. So this one's available now. Lovely. Can't wait to see Rachel
There's
paint
also,
them.
isn't there a Gaiman book called Coraline?
Yes.
And she goes into this other
That's
world.
Tim Burton, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Tim Burton
Rachel
sort of
know better on
animation.
that.
And basically, she goes into a world where people have got buttons sewn onto
Caroline
their
eyes.
eyes.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the Corpse Bride-ish,
The Corpse Bride,
Nightmare
yeah.
Before Christmasy
That's
type
right,
thing, isn't it? That's one of Tim Burton's things. I'm not a massive fan of Tim Burton. I think he paints a big picture, but I don't like his films. Rachel loves them. I think he's ruined all my heroes. So
Has he ruined all your hair?
all of them. Batman and Planet of the Apes. Couldn't watch the Tim Burton.
Can't watch this Planet of the Apes one.
No,
Just
he's ruined
my
all
head.
my heroes, so I don't like Tim Burton. But he paints a good picture. To me, visually, it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
But there's no substance.
What's the film he did about Plan 9 from Outer Space? What's it called? About the director of Plan 9.
It was Ed Wood.
Ed Wood. Now that I love,
Right.
but only because it perfectly recreates the likes of Lugosi,
Yeah.
and people like that.
Yeah.
And I think Vampira is actually, I think it's Martin Landau that plays Lugosi,
Yeah.
and he does a fantastic rendition of him based on actual footage. And I think Vampira is played by his granddaughter.
Yeah,
right.
knowing Tim Burton, it'd be
Yeah,
Helen
he-
Bonham Carter, wouldn't it?
Well, she's got to be in it. She's got to be in it. But I thought that I found that the whole story of Ed Wood fascinating.
Crazy.
And for me, you know me, I'm a big fan of Plan 9 from
You
Outer
are,
Space.
mate.
Glenn and Glenda. I love it. I mean, Glenn and Glenda, these days, mate, it's a groundbreaking film. I'm just going to say that.
Okay, well,
Right,
okay.
Put that away.
Right, on to our last piece,
Yeah.
which is, this is a bit of a sneak preview.
Yeah.
Look at this.
It's massive, but it doesn't weigh much. It's
That's Linda from the first Evil Dead film. This is sculpted by, no surprise there, Andy Copeland. He's got a fantastic likeness on it. It actually is quite a pretty young woman on kneeling.
but it's the face, isn't it?
It's all to do with the
I
makeup.
know that
It is,
face
isn't it?
from
all-
my experience as
Yeah.
a person. That when somebody has that face,
They're going to kill you.
they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best
Yeah.
thing when you see a woman with that face, do apologise,
Yeah.
is chuck chocolate and keep 30.
running.
Yeah.
Yeah, never
Chuck-
see this face in a kitchen
Yeah.
near the knife block.
Yeah.
There you go.
When you
You
see
know.
that face, guys, this is a tip from
Throw
three wise
chocolate
men.
and run.
Chuck chocolate at her and run. Never
Yeah.
ask her.
Never ask her what's wrong.
Yeah, no.
Is it 3 words you never ask? Are you all right?
Yes, no.
Because obviously, because you've done something wrong.
Just remember
Yeah.
one thing: it's your fault.
Yeah. And these are our opinions, and they are in no way official or sanctioned.
No,
It's- yeah,
but
I'm just
when
putting
you see
one
that
in there.
face, guys,
Yeah.
Run.
Now, Evil Dead, Sam Raimi.
first
One
Evil
of
Dead
my
film.
favourite directors, Sam Raimi.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he turns horror into slapstick.
Yeah.
And he has this really physical kind of Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin way of doing something. When his heroes get smacked about, they get smacked about like,
Yeah.
like in Evil Dead. Ash just gets
Battered.
absolutely bad.
No, he does.
And even in his mainstream movie, his most mainstream movie, which he did years later, which is Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire,
Yeah.
the action scenes with Tobey Maguire it's like when he's trying to stop the train and he puts his feet on the railway tracks and he's doing that. It's like something out of Buster Keaton, and the
Yeah.
physical nature of the horror
Yeah.
and the comedy just come together. And he also did one with Liam Neeson, The Dark Man, which
Oh,
people
right,
forget
yeah,
that's a
yeah.
Sam Raimi movie.
Do you know what? I didn't mind that, man.
I didn't. I thought it was a good story.
Yeah, it's
I
a
didn't
great
mind
story.
that.
It's like The Mad Professor.
Yes,
it's
that's
almost
right.
like a combination of Jekyll and Hyde and the Phantom of the Opera, isn't
But
it?
It
I do
is,
think
it is.
Liam Neeson's finest moment was in Ted. Did you see that in Ted when he goes to the checkout?
Yeah.
That's his finest moment, and Ted's at the
Is
checkout
it-
going, "No, sir."
I
no."
think we can just say as well. The next one down is Derry Girls. Have you seen him in Derry Girls?
No.
No,
Oh,
I haven't.
it is genius. You just type in Derry Girls on YouTube, Liam Neeson, because he makes a cameo appearance with these like teenage girls who are like in trouble,
Oh,
and
right.
he's the police inspector. This
Okay.
Northern Irish police inspector.
Shouts at him.
And these Catholic schoolgirls, and they just take him apart. You know when he says, "I'll find you and I'll kill you," right? He doesn't stand a chance
I'll
with
watch that.
these kids.
I'll watch that.
But anyway, Sam Raimi, Evil Dead, absolute classic.
Yeah, great film.
When I first saw it, I thought, I can't believe somebody's made this. My heart was in my mouth First of all,
Did you ban the first one?
Well, it kind of got a ban because
And then it got remade, didn't it?
Yeah, they made Evil Dead 2.
Wasn't it one of the scenes with a tree? With
There's a tree
one,
molests one of the female characters.
Yeah.
And also a lot of the special effects was like plasticine, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
In a
well,
way.
so
very much so.
The Book of the Dead was obviously animated plasticine, but
it was.
I always like those real-time kind of animation effects
Yeah.
because they're kind of gloopy and visceral.
They are.
You know, they don't have the smoothness of CGI. It never frightens
No.
me. Whereas that, because it's a physical object and you can see the movement and the changes in the object.
Yeah.
It's like watching your own skin in a sense.
It is, isn't it?
You can familiarise. It's like the original Thing.
Yeah.
Is so much better.
Because
than the
CGI, at the end of it don't work with everything,
doesn't work with everything.
No,
No.
I think Hollywood's going back to more
to
practical
more
effects.
I think they need
effects,
to.
Yeah. I mean, tweaking it with the CGI is fine, but I think what you need is that physicality, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
So
need
the,
to
so
look
the
all
actors are actually acting in a physical space with the effect. I think that's great. It's a bit like, what's it called? Oh, the one with the one about the Reanimator.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
That is
yeah,
just-
yeah.
Is it Herbert West?
Yeah, Herbert
It
West.
was
Yeah,
Herbert
Herbert
West,
West,
yeah.
the Reanimator. It's a
Brilliant.
movie.
They are
And
brilliant.
it's so silly and gloopy
Yeah.
that you've got to love it because it's gross, but you know, I think somebody swallows an eyeball at one point or something like that. And I do think you're doing an Evil Dead. I think Ash swallows an eyeball.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, somebody gets hit on the back of the head and the eyeball pops out and he goes
That's it.
"Boom," like that.
Oh, I
and you
know.
just say, oh God, please stop.
But
So
anyway,
this is great.
This is
great.
Nobody's
I
ever.
love
I
it.
don't think anybody's ever done this,
think it's done
Linda.
that, no.
And I think it's quite a scary sort of scene in the film. So when I spoke to Andy about it, we said, you know, this has never been done, and will you do me this? And I think he's done it in this scale to get the impact. So it's like a centerpiece of most Evil Dead pieces. But yeah, it's very good. It's even got a little.
When's it available, Dave?
This one's available now.
Okay.
It comes in one piece. It's a
The
one
hands are
piece.
separate.
Yeah, the hands are printed because the finger's
Yeah,
obviously
it's
quite
still
printy.
quite-
It's a hybrid, yeah. So Andy's done a great job of this. He's sat on the base here. It's all in the paint job.
I was going to
So-
say that's the challenge, isn't it?
The face, she's got
paint
kind
skill.
of messy makeup on, and
Yeah.
she's got the white eyes. So this will look completely different. At the moment, she looks like a mad ex-girlfriend of yours.
Innocent.
Yeah,
is
she looks
the
like a
word,
mad
yeah. She looks
ex-girlfriend.
innocent at the minute.
Not really, Dave. I don't,
Depends who you guys say. That's that. How about your ex-girlfriends are not watching that?
yeah,
No,
yeah.
but it is. When you first see it, you think, oh, it's a kit of a squatting female. And then you go, oh, well, she's not happy.
She looks a bit mental.
Yeah.
The skill in this is in the paint, isn't it?
It is.
I
Yeah,
think
well,
it's in
what
the
we'll
paint.
do is
Yeah.
we'll try and get, and we'll revisit some of the paint ups for you, quick pictures on them on another video. But yeah, so what's your favourite that we should review today, Dave?
I would say the It, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, my biggest seller, one of them, is obviously the Barlow one. But the detail, there's a lot more detail in the It.
But you haven't
clown.
sold many, have you?
I know I haven't. It's strange.
About you, Bill?
It's got to be Barlow, hasn't it? I think Barlow is
I think-
just like this took me from Hammer to the modern world
Yeah. Yeah.
because this is referential of Nosferatu in the,
He's
in
got
the
a lot of
original
scars.
movie.
It is.
If you look
But-
here, he's got a little scar on the top. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But it's gone from Nosferatu just looking ugly and awkward to looking very animal-like.
Yeah.
This shows, you know, without wishing to sound too literary, this is a human that's had all its humanity removed from it,
Yeah.
and it's reverting in a kind of a spiritual form to something which is very much a.
I think
killer.
because I see that regular, I'm kind of used to it now. But
I think that's why I said the other one, because I'm used to that.
yeah.
You know,
I mean, the bust itself, there's that much detail in it, even in the skin.
yeah.
To me, it's one of the easiest busts to paint, believe it or not.
Yeah, there's that scene in the film where there's the dead woman on the gurney
Oh, yeah.
and
yeah.
she sits up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then she comes to the guy and he slashes her with the scalpel, and her skin opens up and this like pustular foam comes out.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look at these scars on his face, it's almost like his skin. I mean, obviously in the effect, the skin is rubber, but it's almost like his skin has become rubber and it's got that ooziness about it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I think
yeah.
that's captured every detail. And when I see this one painted up, I often see one because there's always one going out.
There's
isn't
one
there?
round the
There's
corner.
one on
Yeah.
the corner painted up. I always look at it and think, yeah,
It's certainly up there.
that's-
With
I
the
like that one.
favourites.
My favourite's got to be the Chucky and Sam, and possibly the joint. Yeah, these two are my favourites at the minute, and the Linda. I love these two because they're new to me.
Yeah.
I see it every day. So, and the Linda that Bill's just looked at, because I'm really impatient, see, because I want Rachel to paint these, and she does
So
her
you
head
say-
in.
does it?
Because I'll say, come on, get it done. And I love to see them paint. It's like
Yeah.
a kid. Once you get, for me as a producer, once you actually get a sculpture like this, and the Linda through, and it's the first time you've seen it, you're like, oh, it's just fantastic. Or like I say, Linda and Sam, you're just like, wow, these are great. So it's just new for me.
Again,
Yeah, the composition's good as well, and the composition is good.
So it's a case
It
of
is.
whatever's your favourites, guys. Put them in the comments below. I hope we've entertained you for half an hour or so. Again, special thanks to Dave for popping in to pick his stuff up, and we thought we'd collar him. I hope he's not been too embarrassed by it, and I hope
Certainly not, no.
to see more of you. We're getting very, very close to Christmas, guys. Me and Bill will try and do a little bit of a Christmas one for you. We've got a bit of a stock of videos to come out soon, so expect a few coming out.
Got the Halloween part 2 with the Universal, haven't we?
We've got that one to come. We've got the ones with the girls on that we're doing,
Yeah.
and we're going to basically do probably a Christmas one just before Christmas, just to wish you guys a big Christmas. We hope you're all well, guys, keeping good. Again, smash a like, hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. I've been Dave.
I've been Bill. Cheers.
I've been Dave too.
All the best,
And
guys.
this is Mike.
Don't forget Mike.